And I'm tired of the excuses, and I'm tired of you making this a political thing. None of these people tonight, when they see their neighbors being slaughtered on the streets, worry about your nonsense comments about the Constitution and about devolution. They worry about surviving, sir. And I would like to end off with this. I want to graciously invite you to come and patrol without a bodyguard, without a grand car, in normal clothes with this community tonight, to get the sewage on your shoes that they patrol through. You have a problem, Mr. Minister, because you are removed from reality that the rest of us face.
But the minister hit back.
And I'm not going to take any nonsense of somebody who regards me as a garden boy today, because you regard me as a garden boy. You come here, shut up! Shut up! Shut up! I sat here, I listened to you. I sat here, I listened to you talking nonsense. Listen, it's your time to listen. Sit down and listen, young man.
Ayo, culture.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Fonzo. Welcome to another episode of Big Brown Line Podcast. If you haven't already, kindly like and subscribe to the channel for more content. I want to thank everybody for for viewing. Thank you for tuning in. If this channel wouldn't get to it is without you guys. Thank you for all your support, all the subscribers, everybody who's rocked with me till now. Bless you. You know, we're getting close to that 100 subscribership. Look, man, it might not be the exponential numbers that we see on other YouTube channels, but this is a milestone nonetheless, and it couldn't be possible without you guys. And I try my best to be consistent as I can when it comes to this right here. So yeah, it's been a while, guys, and yeah, let's get to it. So in today's topic, guys, we're going to talk about the encounter. It's been such a heated week. It's been such a heated week when it comes to South Africa. You know, I think our nation as a whole is really tired of what's going on. And, you know, it doesn't make sense, you know. And definitely, I believe that our leaders need to be put to book, rather, you know. Yeah, so some context over the video that you just saw now. There was a community forum that took place in Gugulethu in the Western Cape, where Minister Bekele, the Minister of Police, made an appearance. His purpose there was to basically listen and give feedback on the based on, you know, some of the grievances and issues that community members are facing. So in that instance, there were about 10 to 13 speakers, and then before Mr. Cameron came on to speak and say his piece about the happenings. So Mr. Ian Cameron, he's part of Action Society, which is an NGO that focuses on helping community members that are victims of gender-based violence and other violent crimes within the community. So it's become so rife. And based on what he's described and what he said when he spoke to the minister, it's something to really, you know, take seriously, you know, and see, like, this is what we're going through. And that's without having to exaggerate. We are going through a pandemic of gender-based violence in our country. It's seriously. I mean, if you look at the stats, the increase in stats really obvious. It's telling about what's going on in our country right now. So Mr. Ian Cameron, leader of the Action Society, basically gave his 2 cents about what's happening, and he was very direct, and he didn't mince his words at all. He kind of debunked that to Mr. Minister Bekele, who said that who was trying to politicize politicize crime in our country. That was his argument as to, he said, you're trying to politicize crime. And in response to that, I mean, look, Mr. Bekele could have responded to all the other speakers, but he responded directly to him, where the argument got a little bit heated, where he had spoken and said that, he had spoken and basically said that he will not be treated like a garden boy. So in actual fact, he was trying to racialize the whole situation, you know, and that's why I wanted to speak here today, you know, being a person of color, all right? And with a person of color, you need to also gauge and have your own kind of thought process about how you see things, all right? Especially in a society where you are affected by social ills. You get me? So, my argument is that I believe that basically in this instance or in this situation right here, the minister was trying to racialize the whole situation. He pulled out the race card, which is so unnecessary. He tried to say that, you are treating me like a garden boy and I will not be your garden boy. But that was not what what Ian Cameron was actually alluding to. What he was trying to say, or what he was conveying, was the effects of the problems that the communities are facing. And this is the thing about leadership. If you're leaders listen, regardless of how hurt or how direct it might be, because there's no other way you could put it, And like I said, I'm not pro anything, I'm not anti this. I just look at what makes sense. And this is a conversation that I had with my moms, right, not so long ago, and we're talking about these issues because we're obviously pertain to load shedding, etc., petrol prices that just went up again, which is looking to go up in the next couple of months. So by December, we're looking at heavy prices when it comes to fuel costs and other costs of living. So actually, costs of living in general are just so majorly expensive, right? So I said, we were talking about it, and I said to my moms, I said, one thing is, when the day comes that we will probably and possibly see an element of change, is if our leaders take accountability, right? And this proved my theory in terms of that, because this situation that just happened is a lack of accountability. You have a gentleman here coming through stating the facts. He wasn't talking out of emotion. He was stating the facts and based on the statistics that they issued the public. Remember, these stats are public. These are not made up stats. These are issued stats which were reported by the South African Police Service. And he was just running with that. And him being on the road and him being on the ground, speaks volumes, because he's the one in the forefront seeing these things happen. And for me, I don't believe that in any way you're racializing people, because this is where it comes to us as black folk, and this is the thing that baffled me in terms of us as black folk. And if you notice on the video, when Ian spoke on the platform and he was talking sense, they clapped. The crowd clapped. They were cheering him because they are in agreement of what he was saying. I didn't hear anyone booing him. I didn't hear anyone opposing him. I didn't hear anybody coming through with any type of bad vibe. As soon as Minister came onto the stage and he gave feedback on what Mr. Cameron said, everybody, and when he told that man to shut up, everybody was cheering. And that's where it gets me, black people, is that we need to wake up. We need to wake up, because no longer are we sitting in a land, because we look, what our democracy was formed years ago. It was there years ago. And until we as a nation get the picture, nothing will change. Divisions and all these type of things, it's not going to create any type of change for our next generation of young people, because they're the ones struggling right now. It doesn't matter where you go to, where they go to Limpopo region, it doesn't matter. Young people are struggling and suffering, and in those communities you have issues of gender-based violence and young kids being killed. All right, so for me it's like discernment. You got to think about it and say, like, wow, was this really a race issue? He's trying to racialize the whole situation. I think it was somebody who was backed in a corner and he tried to use any in which way element to get out of that situation of trying to not be held accountable. That's what it was. He was trapped in the corner and he didn't like what he was hearing. He didn't like the atmosphere because he had no answers, right? And look, what made it worse is that when they removed him from that place, he was manhandled by the police. He was manhandled by the cops. It didn't make no sense to me. What did he do wrong? So now we base things on the constitution of our country, right? We live by this constitution that we uphold so much, the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech. Those are the part and parcel of our constitution. But yet he was removed by South African police for who knows what, for expressing himself, for stating facts. He didn't call him out his name. He didn't say anything unbecoming. He was stating facts. And he got manhandled by the police. So what's happening going forward is he has laid charges based on that incident that happened. And I hope he follows through with that, to state a precedent that no one is exempt. Because now, should the rules be applied because you're in a position of power? That's abuse of power. There was abuse of power when they removed him out. So look, guys, I just believe in a nutshell is that we can no longer, and we do have a very, 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 very fragile history. Yes, I agree. We have a very, very fragile history. But we cannot base our fragile history going forward to the future, especially to the future of our young people. I believe in young people. You understand what I'm saying? And I believe everybody has the right to life. So, regardless. And here's another thing that I ask. If the same message was put out from a black person or person of color, how would he have responded? How would he have responded to the same, let's say he put the same words, the same everything, the same message, a black person or whoever, person of color, doesn't matter who it is, said the exact same thing to him. What would have been the outcome? Hence why I say, look, man, I'm not going to say it's not a racial issue, it's not this, not that. I'm just saying it needs to make sense. Accountability is key. As soon as our leaders take accountability, things will at least take a step into the right direction. So, look, man, whoever thinks that this was something that a white guy said that made you feel some type of way, you got mad issues. You are very, very, very shallow in terms of your thinking. Because if you think in depth, you're the one suffering. You're the one who's actually without. We are all going through this situation and this crisis that we're facing right now. We're all going through it, regardless of what skin color you are. We're all going through it. So that's just a little bit of perception, something to take into perspective and understand. We should never get, the world puts us out there, so the media, that was vindictive, because I'm sure he put it out there so the media can start saying, yeah, racist guy comes at the minute. No, it wasn't like that. He was out of order. He was put to task. He couldn't handle it. So he came at something else. He came with something else to get to pose a narrative, to put a narrative out there that he disrespected you. He quoted a struggle song. That what baffled me. He quoted a struggle song and he put it in the sentence, rebutting to what he said. My mother was a kitchen girl. My mother was a kitchen girl. My father was a garden boy. I'm like, nah, B. Nah. That's not gonna cut it. So, like I said, I'm not I don't talk politics. I'm not all that left wing, right wing type of stuff. I speak sense. I speak what makes sense. And this did not make sense. And our leaders going forward do need to be held accountable. They do need to be put to task going forward. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the whole scenario. Who was right, who was wrong? Look, guys, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's crazy to me. Man's got triggered because he told him the truth. So our constitution. So you're gonna get arrested because you're telling the truth? Some democracy. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think. And until the next episode of Big Bear Line Podcast, I'll catch you soon. Peace.